But do it muted. My trusty headset on. Okay. What do we think now? Yes? No? Maybe so? Everyone can hear me now. It's fabulous. Well, this is why we give it a few moments for things to all the kinks to work itself out. Again, in case you didn't hear me before. Uh-oh. We have a bit of feedback. That's not fun. Well, away we go. Again, folks, since we had an issue, just looks like when you turn off the mute, amazing things happen. So, everyone, welcome to Avoid These Costly Mistakes as an Arizona home. I'm sorry? Avoid these costly mistakes in Arizona home buying class. I am Natasha Tomlinson, a realtor licensed in Arizona since 2005. So I've seen many different markets, many different shifts, and helped countless home buyers and sellers navigate the Arizona real estate market. Today, I'm here to share some crucial insights with you. For the next 45 minutes, we'll cover several common mistakes that home buyers make and how to avoid them. And then we'll wrap up with a 15-minute Q&A, a 15-minute question and answer session. All right. But before we dive in, there's two main points I really want to go over with you guys. All right. I'm hearing a lot about a real estate market crash, and I'm hearing a lot about this Fed funds rate. Say that 10 times fast. Goodness. But let's talk a little bit about that before we go into the mistakes, shall we? So, first, remember, we're looking at the Greater Phoenix metro real estate market, all right? The real estate market for the Greater Phoenix area. And generally speaking, our area is experiencing a balanced market, meaning that our demand is adequate for the amount of supply that we have, and even a buyer's market and a slight seller's market in some areas where there isn't enough supply for the amount of demand in that area. And you're saying, okay, what does all that mean? Remember, real estate is hyper local. Real estate is about location, location, location first. So an area that new home with superior school district and close to major employers, just as an example, would fare better and have more activity, more demand, more interest in that home versus somewhere that is not close to medical care, it's not close to freeways, and the school system isn't as desirable. All right. So right now, many areas will say that Fountain Hills, Scottsdale, Glendale are seeing a lot of activity right now, where other areas not so much activity. And now let's talk a little bit about the Federal Reserve and the Fed funds rate. Okay, well, the Federal Reserve, they didn't hold back. They knocked off 50 basis points off their interest rate. So they went from a 5% rate to a 4.75% rate. And why is this significant? It's significant because it's the first time we've seen a reduction in this rate in 14 months. Okay? The Fed funds rate is basically the price of money. It's what the banks pay to borrow funds from other banks. The Fed funds rate is not the mortgage rate, right? Mortgage rates are not based on the Fed funds rate, but they tend to be controlled by the 10-year Treasury bond. We're not going to go into all that now, but let's just hang on to that information. So the reduction in the Fed funds rate is, again, the first reduction that we've seen in 14 months, which is very promising for future reductions or just stability. in the mortgage interest rate environment. This could lead also to lower rates on credit cards, lower rates on HELOCs, and some student loans, which would help the economy, spur some extra spending here, and the stock market may be happy about it as well. What may not be so happy are your CDs and your savings accounts. So, you take the good with the bad. What can I say? All right. Well, enough about that. Today, as I mentioned, we're diving into some crucial mistakes that Arizona homebuyers make. And this mistake number one, is particularly heartbreaking, I have to say. And it is heartbreaking. Let's make sure that we are all systems are a go. Yes, you're not staring at my wide eyes, but you're actually looking at the right screen. Look at that. It's fabulous. Okay. Anyway, um, as I was saying, mistake number one that we will discuss today is particularly heartbreaking because it stops people from even trying to achieve their dreams of home ownership, their dreams of that smaller house, of relocating to a different area. And let's break down some common misconceptions and shed light on the reality of home buying qualifications today. And first, yeah, we're going to talk about credit scores. I know no one loves to talk about it, but we're going to talk about it. Many people believe they need a perfect credit score in order to purchase a home. I've had past clients tell me, "Hey, Natasha, my credit isn't perfect, so I couldn't possibly qualify for a mortgage." But here's the truth. While a while a higher score can certainly get you better rates, it can often you can often qualify for a mortgage with a score as low in the 500s, right? As low as 620, and sometimes even lower with certain programs, right? So that's one of the myths. Another myth is the debt myth. I often hear potential home buyers worry about their car payments, their student loans, their medical bills, and they assume that any debt automatically disqualifies them. In reality, it's more about your debt to income ratio than the absolute amount of debt that you carry. Lenders typically take a look at the ratio, and their programs for a variety of different ratios. So don't let medical debt, don't let student loans stop you from exploring your options. The third misconception is about income. I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say, "I just don't make enough to buy a home." But here's the thing. There's no set income requirement for buying a home. And yes, affordability is an issue, and you may not be able to get the Taj Mahal right off the bat. You may not get the home that you see on TV right off the bat, but we can get you into home ownership to get the process starting, to get you building equity. And remember, it's about how your income relates to the price of the home and how that relates to the other debts that you have. Plus, there are programs designed specifically for low to moderate income buyers. You may be surprised at what you can afford. So, what's the reality of home buying qualifications? The truth is they're much more flexible than people think. Lenders look at your overall financial picture again, your credit, your debt, your income, any assets that you have, and your employment history. It is a holistic view, not just one magic number that determines everything. So, let me give you an example. Okay. Recently, I worked with a young couple who thought that they couldn't buy a home because of student loan debt. They almost gave up before even starting. But when we sat down and looked at their entire financial picture, we found that they actually qualified for a first time home buyer program. And remember, first time home buyer is someone who has not owned real estate in the last 3 years. So you may have, say, owned real estate, you know, 15 years ago, but you don't own anything now and you haven't in recent years, you would qualify for first time homebuyer programs. And this particular couple, they're now happily settled in their new home. It's new to them, right? But they're building equity instead of paying rent. This brings me to my next point, the importance of getting up to date, accurate information. The home buying landscape is always changing with new programs becoming available all the time. And what was true 5 years ago or even last year may not be the case today. All right. Thank you. Yes. Let's move on. Let's move on to our next mistake. All right. Leaving money on the table, not taking advantage of those home buyer programs. Folks, this is a big one. Arizona offers several fantastic programs designed specifically to help you get into home ownership, and missing out on these could cost you thousands of dollars. There are down payment assistance programs that are specific to your area and to your location. They're dependent on income. They may require you to stay in the home for a couple of years, and some of them are even 100%. So keep those in mind as you begin your quest for home ownership. All right. Our next mistake, moving on, we're talking about mistake number three, which is getting sucked into the builder's marketing machine. Now, folks, I love our new home builders. Don't get me wrong. In a lot of areas, we have a shortage of homes available, and they're the ones that are going to help bring us out of it. They're one of the major components of bringing us out of this shortage. But this is a big one, especially here in the greater Phoenix area where new construction is booming. Let's start by talking a little bit about the tactics that builders use to reel you in, get you through that front door. Now, don't get me wrong again, many home builders they create beautiful homes and communities, but it is crucial to understand their marketing strategies so you can make an informed decision. First, there is the model home trap. Okay. Yes, the model home trap. Flashy promotions, upgraded finishes, all the bells and whistles, premium appliances, professional staging. It smells great. It looks great. They give you cookies, water, coffee, whatever you can think of at the front door. It's designed to make you fall in love. But remember, what you see isn't always what you get at the base price. Another tactic is the urgency to play. You might hear things like, this is the last lot in the community, or prices are going up next week, or that rate isn't going to be available forever. And while sometimes this is true, this is often a sales tactic to push you to make a quick decision. Builders also often use preferred lenders. They might offer incentives for using their lender, like closing cost credits and upgrades to lower your costs that you what you have to bring to the table to get the keys to your home. And these can be great, but it is important to shop around and ensure that you are getting the best overall deal. Lastly, watch out for the upgrade upsell. Once you're emotionally invested in the home, it's easy to justify upgrades that can quickly blow your budget. All right, folks. Maybe. There we go. There we go. All right, let's dive into mistake number four, skipping or waiving the home inspection period. Notice I mentioned home inspection period, due diligence period. Skipping the home inspection is like buying a new car without looking under the hood, without getting the Carfax. It might look great on the outside, but you could be in for some expensive surprises down the road. Let me explain why home inspections are so vital to the home buying process. First and foremost, a home inspection gives you an unbiased professional assessment of a property's condition. It's your chance to really understand what you're buying beyond what meets the eye. It is crucial whether you're looking at a brand new build or a charming 1920s bungalow. Secondly, the inspection period, it gives you leverage as the buyer. If significant issues are uncovered, you have the opportunity to negotiate repairs and maybe even walk away if the problems are tremendous and real big deal breakers. Without an inspection, you're essentially agreeing to buy the home as is, warts and all. Lastly, a good inspection can save you money in the long run. It can identify potential issues before they become major problems, which allows you to budget for future repairs and maintenance. Let's talk a little bit about what a standard home inspection typically covers, and it's a lot. They typically cover the structural elements of the home, the foundation, the walls, ceilings, roof, covers the exterior evaluation, any grading, the garages, making sure that when it actually rains in Arizona that there's proper drainage. All of that is examined. The roof and attic space, the inspector looks for leaks, proper insulation, and ventilation of that roof. Plumbing systems covers pipes, drains, water heating and pressure. They look at the electrical systems. The inspector checks all visible wiring, service panels, breakers, and fuses. They look at the HVAC system. Heating, cooling, ductwork are thoroughly examined. They look at the interior walls, windows, doors, and stairs if there are any. For ventilation, they look at the bathroom and the kitchen vents that they're checked and, and function properly. Take a look at the fireplace if there is one. Take a look at any built in appliances and test for their basic functionality. And remember, while a comprehensive standard home inspection does not cover everything, depending on the property, you may want to consider additional specialized inspections such as a pest inspection for termites or other wood destroying organisms. In Arizona, termites are common because they are in the soil, and really the common saying is, if you don't have termites, you will have termites at some point, but it's still important to test. All right, radon testing, mold testing, asbestos testing in older homes. If there's a fireplace, take a look at the chimney, pool and spa inspections. Let me share a quick story with you about an inspection that saved one of my past clients thousands of dollars. We were working with a lovely couple buying their first home, a charming 1960s ranch. The home looked great, but our inspector discovered significant issues with the electrical system. It wasn't up to code and posed a serious risk. Armed with the information, we were able to negotiate a reduction in price to cover the costs of updating the electrical system. Without that inspection, my clients would have been on the hook for those repairs themselves. Home inspections can also help you plan for future inspections. Maybe the roof is nearing the end of its life or the water heater is showing signs of age. This information allows you to budget accordingly and avoid surprise expenses down the road. Also, don't forget about the peace of mind factor. Knowing that your potential new home has been thoroughly examined by a professional can help you feel confident in your purchasing decision. You know, let's move on to our next mistake, shall we? Yes, maybe. Yeah. Remember, I mentioned the home inspection period, the due diligence period. All right. Our next mistake is not researching the neighborhood thoroughly. Remember, when you buy a home, when you buy real estate, you're not just buying the structure, you're buying into a community. That neighborhood can have a huge impact on your quality of life and your future home's value. So, why is neighborhood research so important? First, it ensures that the age aligns with your needs and your lifestyle. A neighborhood that's perfect for a young professional may not be ideal for a family with school age children and may not be ideal for a senior downsizing, well, and a retiree. Secondly, understanding the neighborhood helps you gauge the potential for appreciation. Is the area up and coming? Are there plans for new amenities or developments that could increase the property's value? And lastly, thorough research can uncover potential issues that may not be apparent during a brief first visit. Maybe the quiet streets become a major thoroughfare during rush hour, or perhaps there's a history of flooding in that area when we actually get rain. What you should be looking for when researching a neighborhood, here are a few, key factors to consider. Take a look at the schools. Even if you don't have children, school quality can significantly impact a property's value. Look at the crime rates. Look at both the current crime statistics and the trends all over time. And always compare your where you live now. Look at the crime where you live now and look at your new location because remember crime is everywhere. Take a look at future developments. Are there plans for new shopping centers, parks, or other amenities? Or perhaps are there less desirable developments? What about transportation? Consider your commute times, public transportation options, and walkability to other amenities. And amenities, what is the proximity to shopping, parks, restaurants, and other facilities that matter most to you? What about property values? Research historical trends and future projections. Natural hazards. Is this area prone to wildfires, prone to flooding, and other natural disasters? Take a look at the noise level. Visit the neighborhood at different times of day to get a true sense of the noise level. What is the community vibe? Does the neighborhood feel like a place where you'd fit in and be comfortable? Take a look at the HOA, the homeowners association. If there is one, review those carefully and understand any restrictions or obligations. You're like, oh goodness, Natasha, that's a lot. And it is. And now you're asking, well, where can I find this information? Well, there are some valuable resources on local government websites and often provide zoning information and future development plans and public services. You can take a look at school district websites for detailed information on local schools. Take a look at crime maps like crimereports.com that can show you detailed crime statistics. Take a look at the walk score to get an idea of transit and bike friendliness and the walkability of a community. Listen to the news, yes, but just to get a better understanding of current events and future plans for an area. Social media can also be great. Neighborhood Facebook groups or next door can give you a sense of community dynamics. FEMA flood maps are essential for understanding flood risks of an area. And your realtor, your real estate professional, we have access to a wealth of data, and local knowledge can be invaluable in your research. So let's dive in to our next mistake, shall we? Our next mistake, that's right. Our next mistake is taking a look at those HOA documents, skipping the Association document review. This is a critical step that many homebuyers overlook and they often later regret. First, let's talk a little bit about what is an HOA. An HOA stands for Homeowners Association. It's an organization in many communities that makes and enforces rules for the properties and the residents. In Arizona, HOAs are pretty common, especially in newer developments. Now, why is reviewing these documents so crucial? Well, when you buy a property in a homeowners association, you're just not buying the property, you're entering into an agreement with that homeowners association. And this contract, this agreement can affect everything from what color you paint your house to whether you're able to rent the property out in the future, how long you're able to rent it, whether you're able to park an RV in your driveway or not, and a host of other things. Skipping the HOA document review is like signing an agreement without reading it. You may be agreeing to rules and financial obligations that you're not aware of that could significantly impact your budget and your lifestyle. So let's break down what those HOA documents typically include. They include CC&Rs, covenants, conditions, and restrictions. This is the main governing document, and it outlines the rules of the community, covering things like the architectural controls, pet policies, use of common areas. Yes, it can govern the type of pet that you have, the size of the pet that you have. There are bylaws, and these describe how the HOA operates, including how board members are elected and how meetings are conducted and how often they're conducted. Articles of incorporation. This is a legal document that establishes the homeowners association as a corporate entity. Rules and regulations talks a little bit about the day-to-day rules that complement the covenants, conditions, and restrictions. There are financial documents to review, and if you're getting a loan, your lender will more than likely want to see that information about the current budget, the reserves, and any information about any future expenses regarding the homeowners association. There may be a newsletter or community updates as well, and meeting minutes from the last review board, so you can take a look and learn about any current issues that the community is facing. When reviewing these documents, here are some things to really focus on. All right. Financial health. Take a look at the budget and the reserve fund. Is this HOA financially stable? Are there enough reserves for major repairs and replacements? And if you're getting a loan, your lender will want to know that as well. What is the fee structure? What are the fees? How often are they paid? How often are they increased? And what do they cover? Special assessments. Are there any have there been any recent special assessments for road improvements or maybe redoing the pool or landscaping or some or roofs in a community? And how often do you have those special assessments? What are the rules and regulations? Pay close attention to the rules and regulations that affect your lifestyle, such as, the RV or parking or pets and how many pets, the breed of pet, the size of the pet that could be allowed in that particular community. Take a look also at the amenities. What does that homeowners association provide, and are they well maintained? Is the is this community, is the HOA self-managed or is it professionally managed? And this can really affect how things operate. What about the insurance, the master policy for that homeowners association? And what are they responsible for ensuring? Are there any ongoing legal disputes? Are there any violations or fines? Understanding the process of rule violations and associated fines, and take the time to review those homeowners association documents thoroughly. And that can benefit you in several ways. It helps you avoid surprises. You understand a little bit more what you're getting into before you buy. You can budget accurately, and understanding all the potential costs helps you determine if the property truly fits your budget. It's a lifestyle fit. You can ensure the community rules align with your lifestyle and your plans for the future. And again, future planning, understanding the planning improvements and changing can help you anticipate how a community might evolve. And, it gives you peace of mind. Knowing you've done your due diligence, you can make more confident decisions regarding your purchase. You know, we've covered a lot today in today's webinar. Avoid these costly mistakes, this home buyer review. And let's recap the 5 crucial mistakes that we discussed today. One, counting yourself out before getting started. Two, not taking advantage of home buyer programs. Three, getting sucked into the new home builders marketing machine. Four, skipping or waiving the home inspection due diligence period. And five, skipping the homeowner's HOA document review. Each of these mistakes can cost you time, money, and a whole lot of stress. But armed with knowledge, some of the knowledge we've shared today, you're already ahead of the game. The key takeaways from today's session are: don't assume anything. Don't assume that you cannot buy. Get the facts first. Get a financial checkup. Understand where you stand. Explore all available programs and resources to home buyers today. Approach new construction with your eyes wide open and a critical mindset. Always get a professional home inspection, whether it is resale or a new home. And thoroughly review those HOA documents before committing to a purchase. Remember, buying a home, it is a journey and it's okay to take it one step at a time. The goal isn't just to buy a home, it's to buy the right home for you at the right price, at the right location. So you're like, okay, okay, I got it. What's next? If you're interested and you're not currently working with a real estate professional here in Arizona, I welcome you to contact me so we can discuss your specific situation and create a personalized home buying strategy, right? This consultation, it's free, it's confidential, and there's no obligation. It's really for you can get an idea of where you stand and what steps to take moving forward. You know, discuss a lot of the home buying programs that are available today, some of the down payment assistance programs if you're interested. And I can certainly provide you a list of resources to get you started. Be sure to share this information with friends or family who may be considering purchasing a home. Knowledge is power, and the more informed buyers we have, the healthier our real estate market will be. Peeps, thank you so much for chiming in today and listening to me go on and on and on about the crucial, costly mistakes to avoid in the Arizona home buying process. As always, if you have questions, I invite you to reach out to me directly on any of the social media channels, website, phone number, email, send a pigeon. I guess it'll get here eventually. And if you have questions tonight, let's see, do we have any burning questions to address? I see we have some folks that have chimed in, and I certainly appreciate that. In the future, share a link. All right. Well, um, if you're watching, you already have the link. Okay. All right. Well, I will get back to you on that. Again, every Thursday, where you can find me here. And the topics may change over time, but right now I really wanted to drive this point home and just get conversation started around it. So I thank you um, for watching, and baby, and what's happening here? I have a few technical things happening, but until until next time, until next Thursday about this time. Be well.